Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. Tonight's Friday Night Smackdown was, in my opinion, a pretty good show leading into tomorrow night's Survivor Series War Games. Now, we're not talking Rampage tonight. I know some people messaged me and said, hey, since Rampage is on earlier, are you going to review it? No, because I wasn't home when Rampage was on. Honestly, I forgot Rampage was even on earlier. Instead, I was out getting a new phone, so that's why I didn't watch Rampage, even though it was on at like 1 o'clock my time. Basically, when we finished the wrap-up, that's when it came on, and I totally forgot, or I would have watched it then. So we're not talking Rampage. All I do know from Rampage is that they set the main event for Final Battle, the ROH pay-per-view. It is Chris Jericho defending the ROH World Championship against Claudio Castagnoli, as everybody expected. So that's the only thing I know from tonight's Rampage, in case anybody asked. But Luke, have you been since a couple hours ago when we saw you last?
I've been pretty good. I mean, just watching SmackDown. Went to go work out right after the wrap up. But as far as SmackDown goes tonight, I thought SmackDown was a good show. I mean, they did a good job of finally wrapping up everything towards 4 games.
Right.
I thought they did a good job doing that.
Yes, I felt like, because sometimes, well, I'm going to contradict myself. I'm going to say sometimes when we have these go-home shows, they also focus on stuff that has nothing to do with the pay-per-view. And yes, they did tonight because of the World Cup stuff, but that's just kind of made sense for where they're going next week with the finals of the World Cup. So I felt like, honestly, everything tonight was actually more focused than normal in WWE, as far as we didn't get too much randomness. I mean, we got Hit Row versus Viking Raiders, which was kind of random-ish. I guess you could say they've been building that matchup for a couple of weeks. So we'll talk about all of that. But overall, I think, yeah, SmackDown was a pretty good show. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here, whether you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching or listening later, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. If you are watching live, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, it doesn't have to just be your Amazon Prime account. It could be anybody's, whether that's yours or your mother, your father, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister, anybody's. Also, remember, if you are watching on YouTube, you can help us out over there by becoming a channel member by hitting the join button. Hit that join button. You get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, you can get all of that as well. Patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And the final thing, head over to the Epic Game Store. Whether you're getting one of those Spider-Man games, whether that's Marvel Spider-Man for 2018 or Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, whether you're getting one of the free games or you're getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse, use our code down here. Use our code PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Again, use our code PWU NLIMITED at checkout for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. As far as SmackDown does go, and let me mute this sound on my phone because I haven't set up all my sounds and this and that. So everything's just been buzzing and binging and popping. So the show started off with, well, okay, I'm going to actually read, where was the Q-Whoop said in the chat, my SmackDown was delayed because of football. Did anyone experience that too? Yes. There was the college football game on, and I'm sitting here trying to watch SmackDown on the Fox Sports app. And I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. Why is SmackDown not on? And then I'm like, it's 5:03. Why is SmackDown not on? And because I'm not watching on like a traditional Fox channel, I'm not seeing what's on before or what's overlapping. And so I send out a tweet going, it's 5:03. Hey, at Fox Sports, why isn't SmackDown on? And I get all these messages and whatnot, comments saying, oh, the college football game ran long. The college football game ran long. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's not going to be seen by me because all you do when you go to the Fox Sports app, it's got a list of shows that are on right now. You click the one, and if that show's not on yet, it's just going to say, your show will be starting soon, or your broadcast will be starting soon. And so I just kept getting that, and I just kept hearing ba-da-dum, 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 just over and over and over. And I'm like, come on. So yes, I believe everybody or most people experienced the delay of the show starting about 10 minutes late and going 10 minutes over, which really shocked me that they actually went 10 minutes over into what's supposed to be the 10 o'clock news. But as far as the show does go, Michael Cole did a quick intro, and then he said, well, Damage Control and their team for War Games is ready in the ring. Let's send it to the ring. Bayley, Io, Dakota, Nikki, and Rhea were already in the ring. And Bayley said, I don't want to waste any time. I'm here. You made me travel on Thanksgiving yesterday. I'm in this podunk town. I forget what town they were in. She goes, just get out here and tell me who your final member is. So Belair, Bliss, Asuka, and Mia Yim all made their way down to ringside. Belair kept it short and sweet and said, yeah, it's 5 in the ring and 4 out here. But as I said on Monday, we're not coming alone. Here's our partner. And out came the man, Becky Lynch. Not, even though Michael Cole said War Games is about to get big time, her graphics all said the man, Becky Lynch, not big time Bex. So keep that in mind. Yet the new cool shirt she was wearing did say Bex on it. So Becky makes her way down to the ring. She wastes no time jumping right into the ring and starts brawling with Bayley. Lynch sent Bayley out of the ring with an exploder suplex. Rhea Ripley then teased getting in the ring and fighting Lynch, but then said, you know what? We'll do it tomorrow. Fans broke out into a loud Becky chant, and that's how the show kicked off in a very hot way. Like, I liked this intro to the show. Great to just get it out of the way. I know the trope would be, oh no, you got to wait because people really want to know who this 5th member is. So you wait till later in the show to keep more people watching. No, you had the main event of Drew and Sheamus against the Usos. That had enough intrigue. You do this at the beginning, you get it out of the way, and then people can be tweeting about it for the next 2 hours or more. So yeah, Becky got a great reaction. Becky is now a babyface opposed to being a heel when she left or got hurt at SummerSlam. So I really enjoyed it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it well. And I think it's cool adding Becky in the War Games match. I think she could do some cool stuff in the match.
Oh, yeah.
Before, like, it was rumored that Becky was going to come back and be in this match, originally I thought it was going to be Candice LeRae.
I did too.
That's what I thought. But then once news were coming out, like, oh, like, Becky could be back in time for War Games, that's when I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be Becky.
Exactly. And it makes sense. It's not like they just added a random woman. The whole story is that Becky got hurt in the match with Bianca, and then afterwards, Bayley and Damage Control came down to confront all of them or whatever. So, yeah, cool.
Also,
oh, go for it. Go for it.
And also, Damage Control were the ones that they like wrote off Becky.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So the following night on Raw, they further damaged her shoulder. That's right. I forgot about that. Cincinnati says they were in Providence, Rhode Island. Gotcha. Oh, what is this comment? Esports Gamer says, we could be having a crazy crowd in Boston for Survivor Series War Games, but I bet Boston will say we want Sasha and might show up in the No. Do people not understand what a contract is? Bayley or Sasha, for as far as we know, is still under contract to WWE. So to say that she's going to show up and challenge Kyrie or whoever comes out victorious at Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP Women's Championship, I mean, as far as we know, she's still under contract to WWE and has not been given her release. And I don't think WWE would allow her to go to Wrestle Kingdom and do that whole, I'm going to challenge for, no. Cincinnati says, contract temporary, that's contract tampering, I think is what he meant. But yeah, unless WWE gives her the blessing, which I don't think they would, Becky or Sasha is not showing up in New Japan or Stardom to challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship. I just don't see it happening right now unless we finally get that word of she's got her release. It's 100% official. Wade Barrett and Michael Cole then ran down the lineup for tonight's show, and we had our first of 2 semifinal matches in the Smackdown World Cup on Fox, because no one can say this without saying on Fox. Whether it's Samantha Irving doing the announcing, she'll say in a semifinals match for the Smackdown World Cup on Fox, or if it's Michael Cole just saying this match is a Smackdown World Cup on Fox match. Like, everyone's got to say on Fox. We know it's on Fox. We're watching Fox, daggone it. Also, programming note, next week's SmackDown on FS1. So are they going to say SmackDown World Cup on FS1? Or are they still going to say on Fox? It's technically still Fox. But it was Santos Escobar against Butch in a 9-minute match. I thought this was a really good match. So in an inset promo, Escobar promised to defeat Butch and advance to the finals. Zelina Vega was on commentary, and I thought she went back and forth with Michael Cole and Wade Barrett pretty well. She teased going after the Bloodline at one point as well. She said that winning the World Cup is the first step for Legado del Fantasma. She goes, we're the fastest rising group in SmackDown history, and the Bloodline better watch out because we will be going after them one day. But she said going after the Bloodline, never said going after the World Championship and Roman Reigns. So it could just be Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde going after the tag titles. So Butch used some joint manipulation early on, and Butch worked over the arm of Santos Escobar. Escobar recovered and took over with the drop kick. He briefly slowed down the pace, but Butch fought back. The pace picked up with Butch chopping Escobar against the commentary desk. Back in the ring, Escobar regained control after pushing Butch off the top rope. Butch took a nasty fall after hitting the apron on his way down. Butch caught Escobar with a German suplex back from a break. He then followed this up with a moonsault onto the apron. He then took out Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro with it. Escobar recovered and caught Butch with a suicide dive. Escobar and Butch fought on the top rope until Butch snapped Escobar's fingers. Butch took out Del Toro and Wilde with another moonsault off the top rope. He followed this up with a middle rope tornado DDT on Escobar and got a close near fall. The Bloodline would then attack Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens backstage, which then led to Sheamus and Ridge Holland leaving to go backstage to help them. That all distracted Butch. Butch then basically just got hit with the Phantom Driver, and Santos Escobar moves on to the finals of the SmackDown World Cup on Fox.
Pretty expected win, in my opinion, for Santos. And honestly, match was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the match. I mean, I kind of feel like I probably expected the distraction towards the end. But overall, I thought it was good.
Yeah, and I like how, we'll talk about later, Ricochet picking up the win. I like how it's not predictable as far as who wins that. I think it would be Santos Escobar, but I would not be shocked at all if it's Ricochet winning next week either in the World Cup and then challenging Gunther for the title. Because the winner of the World Cup does get an Intercontinental title shot.
I feel like it should be Ricochet, honestly, in my opinion.
I mean, you can
I
say...
like to see.
I wouldn't mind that either.
Ricochet do it.
Right, I wouldn't mind that either, but it's like you can go, oh, Ricochet's already gotten a shot. But then this justifies him getting another shot at Gunther in the title. So I wouldn't care either way. I think both would do well against Gunther and the whole high flyer against the big man and all that stuff. They recapped the Bray Wyatt LA Knight angle from last week before Bray Wyatt came out to a huge pop from the crowd. Fans broke out into a loud Wyatt chant. Wyatt said that he knows people look at him like a rabid dog. He can hear the whispers and feel the people looking at him. He added that everyone wants him to be the monster. Everyone wants him to be the Fiend, and the fans popped at the mention of the Fiend. He said that he doesn't want to be the Fiend anymore, which got some boos. Wyatt then claimed that he's not the one that attacked LA Knight backstage. The lights go out. An Uncle Howdy video appears on the screen. It includes highlights of Wyatt's career as Husky Harris and the Wyatt family. There was a tear on his face at one point, and Uncle Howdy told Wyatt to wake up. In the back, Megan Morant spoke with LA Knight, who was wearing a sling, selling the injuries from last week. He then talked about the angle and noted that he didn't believe that it was actually Bray Wyatt, but couldn't say who it was. So, interesting, building up to whatever this is going to be. I still don't know if Uncle Howdy is even going to wrestle, or if it's just Bray and we don't know it yet.
Who do you think Uncle Howdy even is?
I mean, there was the rumor that it's not Bray and that they might sign Vincent, former ROH wrestler, to play that character, but I haven't heard anything since the rumor, which leads me to believe that maybe that's not true, so I'm not sure. I honestly could see it just being another version of Bray and his split personalities.
I think I saw some people on Twitter say it might be Bo Dallas.
I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that would be great. I forgot about that rumor, or not rumor, but prediction. I think that would be great, it being Bo. So, next up, it's the Viking Raiders and Hit Row. We learn, and Michael Cole said it, that is the former Sarah Logan, but she is no longer going as Sarah Logan. Her new name is Valhalla. She said that the gods gifted her that name. At least that's what Michael Cole told me.
Video game reference?
Well, no, it's a Greek mythology reference, but it is the name of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the game. But it's more of Greek mythology. Because if you will play God of War games, the newer ones, they talk about Valhalla in that and stuff. And I think they mentioned Valhalla in Thor Ragnarok, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's Thor Love and Thunder. One of the Thor movies, they also mentioned Valhalla and stuff. So it's just a Greek mythology thing. So the Viking Raiders had the early advantage as they beat down Ashanti the Adonis on their side of the ring. Ashanti at one point did tweak his knee and sold it very well. Oh, my bad. Magmalore says Norse mythology, not Greek. My bad. Thank you for the correction. Norse mythology. Ashanti tagged in at Top Dollar. Top Dollar briefly ran wild on both Ivar and Eric. He knocked Ivar out of the ring. Adonis then missed a crossbody and landed on the bad leg. The Viking Raiders then took advantage, hit the Ragnarok, and pinned him to pick up the victory. So Valhalla, Sarah Logan, we're going to call her, didn't really do much in this match. She just stood at ringside, and then afterwards she got in and posed. I thought maybe she was going to do a little more, maybe attack B-Fab, but nothing.
So 2 things. One, another like very predictable win. The Viking Raiders, I don't think they're gonna have them lose in their first match back in a while.
Oh no.
And 2, what could be cool is maybe they could set up a 6-man where you see Top Dollar, Ashante Diodonis, and B-Fab take on the Viking Raiders and Von Holla.
I wouldn't mind that. A little mixed tag action.
I think that would be cool.
So then they talked about it. The greatest WWE Thanksgiving video in the last I don't know how long. Michael Cole talked about Dominic attacking Ray at home on Thanksgiving. Now I just wish that they all, because they referenced it in the way they referenced it tonight, almost leads me to believe that they may not reference it on Monday with Rhea. I hope Rhea does, because Rhea would be great. The way I just feel like she would have a great way to reference and reaction to this, as we talked about earlier today on the wrap up. But he basically called it disgusting as far as Dominic's actions do go. They showed the footage of Dominic and Rhea showing up for Thanksgiving. Ray telling them to go, that it's not the right time. Dominic smashed some family photos and a broom over Ray's leg. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it. It's freaking great. It's like perfect Thanksgiving dysfunctional family content, and it works perfectly for the Ray Dominic story, especially when Angie's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, What? I brought mommy to Thanksgiving. I thought that's the line. Every time I watch that video, and I've seen it like 5 or 6 times, every time I hear him say, "What? I brought mommy to Thanksgiving," I crack up laughing. Just the way he calls her mommy is, I don't know what it is, but ever since joining the Bloodline or the Judgment Day, Dominic has gone from being here to all of a sudden something came out in him that he's just way more confident in himself, I think it is. And maybe it is the fact, we've talked about this before, that he no longer feels shadowed by his father, Rey Mysterio, and that being in Bloodline lets him maybe not be a little more himself. I don't know if that's, a gothic person is how he is in real life or whatever, but I feel like them putting him in that group, taking him away from Ray, and him no longer having just to be Ray's son for the most part, gave him a little more confidence in himself. So in the back, LA Knight once again was attacked. Don't know who did it. And he was smashed between a wall and a production box.
That was
Go for it.
I thought it was like so so on SmackDown he was like in a crutches. He had the cast on his arm.
Right.
Next week they put him in like a whole body cast and he was like in a wheelchair.
Oh, that'd be
He
funny
got
as hell.
attacked more.
That'd be funny as hell. Also, Magma Lord says, where can we find the full version of the video? Bingo, right there in the chat. Right there in the Twitch chat is the 3-minute video. It's actually give me 2 seconds. I think it's a 2-parter. I want to say, no, maybe it is. Nope, it's just the whole 2.5-minute, 3-minute video. So there it is. So going forward, we had the second semifinal match in the Smackdown World Cup on Fox. It was Ricochet against Braun Strowman. They even referenced Braun Strowman's flippy flopper tweet from a couple of weeks ago. Ricochet and Strowman had a short match, but I felt the big little man, like the David and Goliath as they called it, deal worked well with these two. The match only went 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and Ricochet did pick up the win after Imperium did interfere, I mean. So Ricochet enraged Braun Strowman early by slapping him in the face. Strowman backed Ricochet into the corner. Ricochet used his speed to avoid Strowman's charge. He followed this up with a series of drop kicks, including one off of the apron. After Ricochet celebrated, Strowman sent Ricochet flying with a tackle. Strowman was firmly in control with a splash in the corner. He then tossed Ricochet across the ring, and then all of a sudden, out would come Gunther and the rest of Imperium. They would cause enough of a distraction to Braun Strowman that allowed Ricochet to take advantage, hit a crucifix, and pin Strowman to pick up the victory and move on to the finals next week against Santos Escobar. After the match, Imperium would attack Braun Strowman, and I liked what they did here. So Ricochet's leaving, Strowman's getting beat up, and Ricochet's at the top of the ramp like, what do I do? What do I do? Screw it, and he runs down to go help Braun. He gets beat down as well. Eventually, Imperium leaves. Braun Strowman helps Ricochet to his feet and gets a big pop. So, yeah, Ricochet actually helped Braun, even though they had a little spat on social media, and then they faced off tonight. So I liked it. I liked the whole Ricochet did the right thing stuff.
I actually just thought of an idea.
Go for it.
So like let's say Santos wins. He beats Ricochet. And then during the IC title match against Gunther, Braun Strowman comes out, like, this is a disqualification. And he's like, if there's anybody that should take the IC title off of Gunther, it should be me. That sets up Braun versus Gunther for the IC belt.
So you're saying he screws up the finals of next week?
Not the finals, but like the actual like IC match.
Oh, so like whoever wins, he takes them out before they can even get the match. Okay, gotcha. I mean, I could see it happening. I could see it. I mean, they're obviously at some point building the Gunther versus Strowman one-on-one. Like, that match is gonna happen. So then we had a very interesting segment that I really liked. Sami Zayn's backstage, and he's walking up to the Bloodlines locker room. Kevin Owens would approach. Zayn told him, you need to leave. Owens goes, no, you need to hear me. You need to hear me out. You always want to do the right thing as far as the Bloodline does go. You want to make them happy. You do what they want and everything. But what about when you say or do the wrong thing? How are they going to act then? How are they going to treat you then? And the camera pans out a little bit, and we see the door slightly open, and Jey Uso is standing there watching or listening. He's not watching. He's listening. Owens is like, you've seen how Roman acts against his own family when they do or say something he doesn't like. So what do you think he's going to do to you once you do or say something he doesn't like? Sammy's like, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen like that. That's not going to happen. You need to leave. I don't want to. No, we don't need to have this conversation. And eventually, Kevin Owens is like, all right, suit yourself. And he walks off. Sammy's looking very conflicted. He goes to open the door. Jay closes it really fast. Sammy opens it. Boom, there's Jay. And Jay's like, hey, where have you been? He goes, I texted Jimmy. I told Jimmy I was running late. He goes, oh, yeah, running late. Gotcha. So you just got here? He's like, yeah, I just got to the building. He's like, and you haven't talked to anybody? And Sammy's like, I just got here. I couldn't have talked to anybody. And Jay's like, really? You haven't talked to anybody at all since you got here? And Sammy's just like, no. Like I said, I just got here. So Jay knows Sammy's lying to him. Sammy doesn't know that Jay knows. And that's going to build even more distrust in Jey Uso with Sammy's, or more distrust of Sami Zayn to Jey Uso and not want to trust him in this and that. And Jay was furious. Sammy walks off, enters the locker room, and Jay's just super pissed off. I really, really liked this.
Oh yeah, I did too. It helps build up, helps build things up of Jay hating Sammy even more.
Right.
But do you really think they're gonna take Sammy out of the bloodline this soon?
I mean, I don't know why I was thinking this earlier, but maybe all the baby faces get beat down in the War Games match, and so it's just the bloodline standing there, and then all of a sudden they're in the cage and they surround Sammy and take him out as well in War Games. Just a thought I had. I don't think it would work because that would mean you'd have to take out everybody on the other team and make them all, lay there for a couple minutes, but it could happen. I think Sammy won't be in the bloodline at least come WrestleMania. I still think we get Sammy versus one of them, or Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos for the titles, at least by WrestleMania.
It could be an idea: Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos,
Right.
with the titles at WrestleMania.
So fast forwarding a little bit, we do get a shot of Jay looking very pissed, talking to Jimmy, and he's like, yeah, we don't hear what he's saying. And Michael Cole's like, I wonder if Jay is telling Jimmy what he heard and was told from Sammy earlier tonight. But we never find any resolution from that. As we move forward, they showed a very cool highlight video for War Games. They did show NXT footage because that's really all they got. And they showed the rules of War Games, which, in case you guys don't know, I'm going to bring those up on the screen for you guys right now. The rules of War Games. The rules of War Games are as followed. Let's see if I can get these up on the screen. So they say 2 teams will be contained in separate cages, with 1 member of each team starting the match. After 5 minutes, a member from the advantage team will be released to enter the match. After a 3-minute period, alternating members from each team will enter the match until all competitors are inside the cage. Once all competitors have entered, War Games officially begins. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. So there we go. Those are the rules of War Games, taking place tomorrow night. Moving forward, back from Megan Morant interviewed Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi, when suddenly all of a sudden Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler would jump them from behind. They slammed Raquel's arm in a big old giant road case, and Raquel was screaming in pain as she pulled her arm out, and Ronda and Shayna walked off. Back from the break, Cole announced that they rushed Rodriguez to a hospital with a possible broken arm. Yet, if she went to the hospital, how the hell did she show up 10 minutes later, if even that? No, not even 10 minutes later. It was 6 minutes later, 5 minutes later. Did she say halfway to the hospital, turn this car around? Because she ended up showing up halfway through the 3.5-minute Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Shotzi match. I don't get that at all. They took her to a hospital with a possible broken arm. How?
Unless they said they're on their way to the hospital, she's on the stretcher and she just hurry up, gets up, and just heads to the ring.
Unless the hospital's across the street and we just don't know it. So Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler make their way out to the ring. Rousey assumed that there won't be a match tonight because they've injured Raquel. And instead, out would come Shotzi and tell the referee to start this match as a handicap match. And this was kind of a little bit of a mess. Not the best of matches. And they did an even further injury angle with Raquel coming out of this. So Shotzi decides to go it alone. She runs wild on both Shayna and Ronda early. The heels, though, eventually do take over and target Shotzi's bad arm. Despite Cole claiming that Rodriguez was at the hospital, all of a sudden the music of Rodriguez would hit. She would run down to the ring and jump in. Raquel would run wild on Rousey and went after her arm. Or Rousey went after her arm. Baszler would then grab Shotzi before she jumped in the ring and made Shotzi watch Ronda put Raquel in the armbar, and Raquel would eventually tap out. We then go to commercial break. We come back from the break. Kayla Braxton's standing. So this also makes no sense. They say that because of the first attack, we took Raquel to the hospital. But then after the second attack, they just took her to the trainer's room. That was it. So it was now the trainer's room, the hospital. I don't know. But Kayla Braxton's outside the trainer's room. She's like, I'm here waiting for an update on Raquel Rodriguez. When on cue, out would come Shotzi. Shotzi said that Rousey and Baszler are bullies. And she's used to bullies coming after her. But she's never had anybody like Raquel stand up for her against said bullies. Shotzi then noted that she's not here just to beat Ronda tomorrow. But this is now personal. She said Raquel suffered a broken arm in the first attack and a dislocated elbow in the second. And then she had some interesting words here where she goes, tomorrow, I'm not just gonna, what does she say? Hold on. I didn't write it in my notes, but I tweeted about it. Because this was an interesting choice of words. She said, tomorrow, I'm not just gonna beat Ronda. She said, I'm going to beat Ronda senseless. I expected her to say, I'm not just going to beat Ronda, but I'm also going to take the title. No reference of her taking the title. So she doesn't care about the belt? So she just said, oh, tomorrow I'm going to beat Ronda senseless. No, beat Ronda and take her belt. Nope, just beat her senseless.
I kind of like the idea of Ronda and Shayna as a team.
Oh, I love it.
Together.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely. You think this is probably just going to lead to like them two at WrestleMania though? Like if someone's going to turn on somebody and it's going to lead to them two at WrestleMania for the title?
No. I know a lot of people think it is, but no. I don't think they're the types of friends that will turn on each other. That's the thing. I think this is going to be the one group that they never turn on each other. Everyone expects it because it's WWE and eventually a teammate turns on a teammate. But I think this could be the one team that it doesn't happen. It's going to either be Ronda just leaves because she's taking her time off, or they just somehow quietly go their separate ways. But I don't think one turns on the other. If at all, Shayna turns on Ronda. If at all. That's how I see it. Shayna turns on Ronda. But I don't see it. So moving forward, we have our main event. Tag team match for the men's War Games advantage. It's Drew McIntyre and Sheamus against the Usos with Kevin Owens and both Brawling Brutes are at ringside, as well as Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Magmalore says, do you think Triple H will add Jessamyn Duke back to the group? Probably not. I don't see it. So they start off with a slow pace here, but it turns into a wild match by the end. They told multiple stories within this match. So McIntyre and Sheamus were in control early. They sent the Usos to the floor. And then back from a break, Jay made a blind tag and sent Sheamus to the floor by pulling down the top rope. Zayn got in Sheamus' face, but Jay pushed him away. And Jay would then get in Sammy's face. Sammy very confused here, as Owens pointed out, hey, look, they don't really like you. McIntyre then tagged in and ran wild with a neck breaker on Jay. He followed this up with a spine buster on Jimmy. McIntyre set up for the Claymore, but Jay grabbed his leg, allowing Jimmy to hit his super kick. The Usos took over and threw McIntyre into the steel steps. The Usos were firmly in control, coming back from another break, as Jimmy hit the Umaga splash in the corner and posed. Also, this match went 17 and a half minutes. So he hits the Umaga splash. He went for a second one, but McIntyre rocked him with a knee. Sheamus then got the hot tag and ran wild. He caught Jay with an Irish Curse backbreaker and 17 beats of the Bowdrin. Jay pulled the legal man Sheamus out of the ring. Then in the ring, McIntyre caught Jimmy with a Claymore, but Jay responded with a super kick. Sheamus then caught Jay with a knee for a 2. He set it for a bro kick, but Zayn jumped up on the apron. Sheamus rocked Zayn and knocked him down. Jay then took advantage and rocked Sheamus with a super kick to get a very close near fall. Jay climbed to the top rope, but Sheamus would cut him off. Zayn would interfere yet again and knock Sheamus down. Jay hit a flying splash for a close near fall. Then a brawl would break out at ringside with Jimmy, Sikoa, Holland, and Butch. Zayn would then grab the tag belt and give it to Jay. We'll try to give it to Jay. Kevin Owens stopped him and goes, "What are you doing?" And Sammy looks at Kevin and goes, "What are you doing?" And Kevin goes, "What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm taking this title from you." Owens then grabs the belt. He grabs Zayn and he throws Zayn into the ring to distract the referee. So he gets distracted. He then gets kicked in the... Well, no. I take that back. It looks like he's going to get Brogue kicked, but then the referee just goes, "No, you want to get involved again, Sammy? You're out of here." As the referee is kicking Sammy out, Owens then jumps in, hits Jay with a stunner. Sheamus hits him with a Brogue kick and pins him to get the advantage. Now, I've seen people on Twitter go, baby faces with the advantage in War Games? That doesn't make sense. Yes and no. I get how the heels having the advantage makes sense, but this makes sense for the bigger picture with Sammy and the bloodline. Because now the bloodline, and especially Jay, can come back and say, look, Sammy cost us the advantage. Sammy is the reason I didn't win. We didn't win. We didn't get the advantage.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. But does Roman actually say "You're right, Jay"? That's the question right there.
Maybe, but I was also shocked that at least I thought Roman was at least going to come out at the end of the show. No Roman, which was very surprising. Like I saw everybody brawling and everybody down, and I go, perfect time for Roman to come. Nope. So then the show ends, and Jay's looking at Sammy all pissed off, and I'm like, oh, Roman's going to come out mad. Roman's going to come. No. I'm really surprised there was no Roman at all. Like, at all. Especially for the go-home show.
He'll probably do something like during Survivor Series, like not during the match, but like maybe they'll do a segment where like Roman's like, "I'm disappointed in you, Sammy. You kind of cost us the advantage."
Right. So this is a little bit of a prediction here, but do you think the men's or the women's match goes first? Because I think they bookended. I think one match starts the show and one match ends the show.
I would assume the women's.
Say it again. You cut off.
I would assume the women's.
Gotcha. So the baby faces, McIntyre, Sheamus, Owens, Holland, and Butch all stand tall in the ring. As Michael Cole tells us, next week, SmackDown's on FS1, and War Games is tomorrow night. So there we go. As far as the show tomorrow night, though, we're going to give you our predictions for War Games. So far, 5 matches have been announced for War Games, and I don't expect any more matches to actually be announced. I think we're just going to get these 5 matches, and that's all we go with. So as far as these matches go and our predictions, first off, we do have a match where it is AJ Styles against Finn Balor. Now, AJ and Finn have both said, this is it. This is the final fight. This is the final match in our little rivalry. So whoever wins here gets the advantage of, I would say whoever wins here should get some sort of a push. But I'm going to go, I would like to see AJ win. I'm going to say Finn. I'm going to say Finn Balor picks up the victory. Who do you got?
This is kind of a tough one. It can really go either way. AJ could win. He's the babyface. The OC kind of got screwed over a little bit at Crown Jewel. But you could also say Finn because, Triple H loves Finn Balor.
Right.
There were reports that he wants to, give him a big push because, he's kind of been, up and down on the main roster, the past few years.
Right.
So I'll probably go Finn.
As we move on to some title matches. First title match we do have here is for the SmackDown Women's Championship, as it is Ronda Rousey taking on Shotzi. Well, defending the title against Shotzi. Who you got? Go first.
it's Ronda. Ronda's retaining.
Yeah, there's no offense to Shotzi, but there's no way Ronda doesn't walk out victorious. As we move on with our go for it.
This match is basically just trying to give Ronda an opponent.
Oh yeah. As we move forward, the United States Championship is on the line as Seth Rollins will be defending against both Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory. I wouldn't mind Austin Theory winning with the new aggressive Austin Theory, but I'm going to say Seth retains the title.
Yeah, it's too early. Take the belt off Seth.
Right.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Elite tried to get involved in this match.
No, I didn't think about that, but that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and Seth retains. It's too early. Take the belts off him.
Yeah. So we move on to our first of two War Games matches. We have the men's War Games matches, the Bloodline against the Brutes. On one side, it's Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa. On the other, it is Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Now, I'm going to let you take this one first because I honestly can see it going either way.
Yeah, I can see it going either way, but I'm going to go the baby faces on this one because I honestly think they're building towards Roman versus Sheamus because, Sheamus, he was first attacked by the Bloodline. So I think in this match, maybe to get Sammy more, let's say hated by Jay, maybe Sammy takes the pin in this match by Sheamus, and that gives Sheamus a title shot against Roman.
I like that. I was thinking the baby faces as well to lead to Sheamus and Roman, but it could also lead to Kevin Owens and Roman because Kevin Owens keeps saying he wants Roman. So regardless, I do like the idea of Sammy takes the pin, further pissing off the Bloodline. So I also do believe that the baby faces will walk out victorious. And finally, our last match of the night, the second War Games match, the women's War Games match, is Team Belair versus Team Damage Control. On one side, it's Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim Michin, and Becky Lynch. On the other side, it's Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. I'm going to say the heels win this one, leading to Bayley getting another shot at the belt.
I'm going to go the heels as well because whoever pins, honestly, I think Bianca's going to take the pin here. It's going to lead to whoever pins Bianca is going to get a title shot, whether that's Bayley or Rhea. I can see it being either one because they did tease Rhea challenging Bianca for the title a few weeks ago.
Right.
So I think the heels win, and whoever pins Bianca is going to get a title shot.
So with that, guys, those are our predictions for tomorrow night's WWE Survivor Series War Games. Remember, we will be live following War Games tomorrow night to wrap up, recap, and talk about that entire show. As far as the rest of this show does go, we got some text messages. We got some polls. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Before we get into that, we got to check the polls. Let's see. Refresh the polls. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 100% like tonight's SmackDown. It's good to see. Good to see 100% of you liking SmackDown. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 66% liked the show, 30% thought it was just all right, and 3% did not like SmackDown. And finally, the YouTube poll, 81% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and 5% did not like SmackDown. Some of the comments here. I like it because the man, Becky Lynch, is back. Can't wait for Survivor Series tomorrow. Versus said, I like it. I'm glad that Becky Lynch is back. Versus says, best part was Becky's return. Versus said, did you notice Ronda Rousey was wearing a Capsule Corp jacket? Yes, I did. And this person says, I watched Rampage. I didn't watch Rampage. As far as the text messages do go, Okay, I'm just going to read this really quick and then say one thing on this. This person says, with MJF as AEW World Champion, do you think Bruce Pritchard can still persuade him to come to WWE? Contract. That's all I'm going to say. Contracts. You can't talk to somebody if they're under contract, whether he's a champion or not. Man, people don't understand that. First says, who's your pick for the Women's War Games? Well, they sent that in before we did our predictions. And this person says, who do you think will be the next wrestler Triple H brings back to WWE? That's a hard one because most of the names I thought of are back. Chelsea Green probably. It's been said that it's basically a done deal. So I think Chelsea Green will be the next one to come back. Who do you think?
I can also see Bronson Reed coming back soon.
Yep, that's another one. It's a good one. He's got a big decision.
Yeah, he does. Because I think New Japan would give him he's kind of in a decent spot with New Japan though.
He beat Okada this year. So yeah, he's in a good spot.
So yeah, so it's like you give up what New Japan is offering or come back to WWE.
Right?
Another name I thought was maybe Nixon Newell.
Yes, that's another good one. The former Tegan Knox. I heard she's dealing with some visa issues as far as being able to work. But I feel like if WWE really wanted to bring her back, they'd be able to figure that out. And the final text message here states, do you think Humberto and Angel should be added to Legado del Fantasma if they go after the bloodline? There could also be a story where Zelina takes their side and betrays Legado, leaving room for Elektra to come back. I mean, I can see that, but they're already pushing Elektra Lopez on her own in NXT, so I don't think that's going to be the case. And I don't see them getting added to the Legado del Fantasma group because they already tried to do the whole add them to Maximum Male Models, and this didn't go right. No. I see Legado just being Legado how they are.
I mean, if Legado was going to go after the bloodline, it would just be Joaquin Wilde and Cruz just going after the tag belts. Because right now, Santos is focused on the IC title.
Right. So with that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I do want to say thank you for joining us here if you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, I will be live back here tomorrow following War Games or Survivor Series War Games. So keep an eye on that, and we will see you next time. Also, I should be live a little bit later, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. Probably going to play some more Warzone, so hang out over there as well. Have a good one, guys.